How do you describe your music?
We describe our music as a road to consciousness, revolutionary music.
Revolutionary in what respect?
Revolutionary of the mind, bring the reality of what has been hidden from the wise and the prudent to the babe and the suckling.
Hello everybody, and welcome back again to the Reggae Appreciation Society. On May the 11th, 1981, the world was stunned by the dark and terrible news that the Honorable Robert Nesta Marley, known in the ghetto as Tough Gong and fondly referred to as Brother Bob by all, had passed away at the young age of 36 after a lost battle with cancer. It will spark an unprecedented outpouring of grief from the four corners of the globe as the entire world would mourn reggae's ultimate ambassador, the most famous man to emerge from Jamaica. He was given a state funeral worthy of a king that was attended by 6,000 people and plenty more who lined the streets from Kingston's National Arena all the way to the village of 9 Mile, where he was born and would be buried. To the grief-stricken world and global reggae fraternity, it marked the end of Bob's 18-year journey as a musician, an epoch filled with an astonishing trove of memories, of struggles, breakthroughs, and achievements. In his lifetime, he put out 6 live albums and 12 studio albums, all of staggering brilliance and quality, which are among the greatest works of art ever created. His 12th and last studio album, released in his lifetime, was 1980's Uprising, a truly spectacular, triumphant body of music that Bob put together while coming to terms with the fact that he was going to switch over to eternity and meet Jah. At the time of his passing, the Uprising album was so hot on the airwaves and world charts, and the impact of his death would even cause No Woman No Cry from his 1974 album Natty Dread to enter the charts in the UK and went up to number 8 in the singles charts. To the fans, it seemed like the end of the road, but little did they know that Brother Bob had in the months before his passing approved the release of his 13th and last love letter to mankind. Let's take a look at the story of Confrontation, Bob Marley's posthumous masterpiece. To begin with, the story behind Confrontation commenced upon the completion of his 1978 album, Kaya, an album considered to be his most feel-good body of work. For his next project, Bob envisioned a trio or trilogy of militant and spiritually charged albums that began with 1979 Survival and would be followed by 1980's Uprising and would culminate in Confrontation. From Bob's point of view, Survival was supposed to represent Jah people staying alive in the face of Babylon's onslaught, while Uprising signified the revolt against Babylon and the casting off of chains. And Confrontation will signify just that, confronting Babylon head-on with music as a weapon. In fact, the album's cover art, designed by Bob's close friend and Tough Gun Records art director Neville Garrick, depicted Bob Marley on a charging white horse, driving a lance into the heart of a dragon, which represented the physical form of Babylon. The artistic symbolism was even Bob's idea and was supposed to be his expression of a mortal blow dealt to Babylon by the invincible Rastaman and his weapon of reggae music. The songs on this album had been recorded before, but without Brother Bob to truly drive the project and oversee the production, it would take 2 whole years for Chris Blackwell, Peter Marley, and the Wailers Band to finally complete and release the Confrontation album, which hit the streets on May 23rd, 1983. A 10-track delight of Rastafarian goodness, designed to make you do your best skank, as well as inspire and fire up your resistance and antagonism of Babylon. A combo represented in the album's first track, Chant Down Babylon. Bob invites the listener to accompany him on this final musical adventure with the opening lyrics. Come we go chant down Babylon one more time, for them soft, yes them soft. A reggae music, chant down Babylon. This song was an open invitation to inform and enlighten the masses about the evil world system of Babylon that was being exposed through the power of reggae music. According to Bob's ex-manager Don Taylor, the Tough Gong had a mission to spark the minds of people everywhere to revolt against the oppression and the Babylon system, and on this album he really showed his intent. The next track, Buffalo Soldier, is probably the best known song from the album and I'm very sure needs no introduction. The song told the dark story of African American ex-slaves drafted into the US Army to go and wage war against indigenous American tribesmen in the 19th century. And it was also the most commercially successful and reached number 4 on the UK singles charts, as well as number 3 in New Zealand, and also charted in several countries around the globe. The third song, Jump Na Bingi, gives me goosebumps every single time I hear it. It's a sublime masterpiece of excellent instrumentation by the Wailers, the uplifting angelic harmonies of the I3s, all crowned by Bob's lead singing in one of his most inspiring and achingly expressive vocal performances I've ever heard. The Tough Gong invites the listener to dance, sing, and march through Babylon and tear down its walls with music, encouraging Jah people to celebrate inevitable victory with lyrics like, "We got the herb, so hand I the suru board, cause most of all, we ain't got nothing to lose." Sublime, and I mean simply sublime. The fourth track, Mix Up is another classic, and is in my opinion the closest that Bob ever came to pop and rock music, as it had a heavy influence of excellent synthesizer play and the Top Gong on what I consider his most adventurous vocal performance. A very 1980s sounding joint that showed massive range and versatility. Black Man Redemption is the beauty, and in fact, its lyrics inspired the title to the movie Cool Runnings that came out in 1993 that told the true story of Jamaica's Olympic bobsledding team. The next track, Trench Town, is my absolute favorite on the album. A glorious warm celebration of the legendary Trench Town ghetto, where Bob's musical journey began, and the place that was reggae's ground zero, where many legends would spring from and take over the world in no time. On this track, Bob was great as usual, but for me, the absolute boss on this one was none other than band leader and bassist Aston Barrett. His bass guitar play was hypnotic and unbelievably beautiful, and the driving force behind this 3 minutes 13-second masterpiece. Of course, special recognition must be given to the great David Madden, who did his thing on the trumpet. So the next track, Stiff-Necked Fools, is a fiery admonition to doers of iniquity who are stuck in their ways, on which Bob poured out stern biblical lyrics like "The lips of the righteous teach many, but fools die for want of wisdom." The very last track on this very last Bob Marley album is the uplifting Rastaman Live Up, in which Bob encourages his brethren walking through Babylon to stay strong in the face of adversity and insane odds, offering examples like David slaying Goliath with a sling and a stone, as well as Samson taking down Philistines with a donkey jawbone. A befitting farewell from reggae's greatest performer. I believe Rita Marley did a phenomenal job as executive producer, and even though there will be other posthumous releases issued by the record labels to milk the Bob Marley machine of as much money as possible, Confrontation is truly the last album from the great Bob Marley. Island Records released the greatest hits album titled Legend in 1984, which over the past 4 decades has sold 25 million copies and is the best-selling reggae album of all time. But all in all, the brilliant Confrontation album was a worthy final love letter from Brother Bob to mankind, and a grievous mortal blow and slap to the heart of Babylon. So there you have it. Thank you for watching this video today. Please leave a like, subscribe, and until next time, Jah bless.